What is up, everybody? We are back here at King Films for another video, and this time we'll be examining the current playoff picture as it stands after Week 15 in the NFL, and then making our forecasts for how the playoff picture will look after the conclusion of the NFL regular season. And a reminder, we made this video last week, and it got outstanding support, over 7K views, but just 0.5% of you subscribe that watch the video, so please hit the like button and subscribe. It helps the channel immensely. And a reminder that tomorrow in a video we will be explaining the most outlandish scenarios that can happen in the playoff picture in the last 2 weeks. For example, showing how the Steelers can get to the 1 seed and how the Raiders can get to the playoffs, stuff like that. So if you're interested in that, please go watch that video on Wednesday when it comes out. So now to the current AFC playoff picture, and the key movement is the Steelers down to the 3 seed. Now this playoff picture is from before the Monday Night Football game, but obviously the Steelers end up losing to the Bengals, so they go down to the 3 seed, not having the tiebreaker to the Bills. And this really cements the Chiefs at the 1 spot. They haven't clinched it yet, but they only have the Falcons and Chargers left. So only having to win one of those games, they'll probably win both to lock in that number 1 seed. And then the Bills looking very good for that number 2 spot. Obviously having the tiebreaker to the Steelers, and then they'll be playing the Patriots and then the Dolphins. 2 relatively tough division games ahead in the season, but they're looking good for the 2 seed with how the Steelers are playing. And the Titans barely clinging to that tiebreaker against the Colts. And then the Browns at 10-4. They looked really good against the Giants on Sunday Night Football. They have the Jets this week, and they won't clinch necessarily if they win against the Jets. They need a few other things to happen to clinch in Week 16, but they are looking very good to make a wildcard spot and could even win the AFC North. And then we have the Colts at the 6th spot, and they are looking very good for a playoff berth. They can actually clinch it in Week 16, and if a few things break their way, they can actually win the AFC South. Included in that, they probably have to win out against the Steelers and then the Jaguars and hope the Titans lose to either the Packers or the Texans. Then we have the Dolphins, who are clinging to a tiebreaker against the Ravens. The Dolphins control their own destiny. If they can win out, they will be in the playoffs. All they have on that schedule is the Raiders and then the Bills. So 2 games that could be tough to win. And then the Ravens have probably the easiest schedule. They have the Giants and then the Bengals. And even if they win that, they still do need some help. Raiders barely even on this graphic. They need a lot to go their way, including winning out and the Dolphins and Ravens losing out. And now we go to the NFC playoff picture after Week 15, where the Packers are looking very good for the 1 spot. The magic number is 1. They either need a win or a Saints loss to clinch that number 1 spot. And then with the Saints loss, they are not looking good. I mean, all they need to do is win 1 game or have the Bucs lose once to lock up the NFC South, and they can't seem to do it. Maybe they can do it on Christmas Day against the Vikings, but their chances at the 1 seed have quickly dissipated in the last 2 weeks. Then the Seahawks make a notable jump to the 3 spot with the Rams loss to the Jets. The Seahawks clinch their playoff berth, as is denoted on the screen, with their win against the football team. The football team retain their spot at the NFC East lead and the 4th seed at 6-8, but there are some teams creeping up. They'll most likely have to at least win 1 game to clinch that playoff berth. Then we have the Rams, who looked very disappointing against the Jets, 9-5. And then the Bucs, 9-5 as well. They had a pretty good comeback win against the Falcons, and they're about to lock in that playoff berth. Then the Arizona Cardinals, who are at 8-6, and they have 2 pretty tough divisional games. They have the Niners, who are going to be seeking revenge, and then the Rams last week of the season, but they're looking very good. Get that final wildcard spot. Then we have the Bears at 7-7, who do own the tiebreaker against the Cardinals because of conference record, but they're obviously a game behind. And then we have the Vikings, who, let's be honest, they're probably not making it. Need a lot of things to break their way. The Cowboys looking very good in the NFC East. They don't hold the tiebreaker against Washington, so they're going to need to win out and have the football team lose out. Then the Giants at 5-9 do own the tiebreaker against the Washington football team, but probably have to win out as well. And then the Eagles definitely have to win out and get a lot of help. So then now to my AFC predictions for Week 16. And no notable changes at the top. I have the Chiefs retaining the 1 seed and therefore locking it up with their win against the Falcons. The Bills keep their number 2 position, and I'm pretty sure they would clinch under this scenario in Week 16, but I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments. And then the Steelers actually drop a game to the Colts. They retain their number 3 spot for the time being, but with the Browns win against the Jets, that would set up an AFC North championship game in Week 17 between the Steelers and Browns, which would be very entertaining. Then the Titans, I have them winning upset victory against the Packers, and they would therefore retain their spot atop the AFC South. And then the Colts, as I mentioned, they beat the Steelers, so they go to 11-4, probably lock up that seed in the wild card, a playoff berth, that is. And then we have Miami, who I have beating the Raiders and retaining that playoff spot for the time being, and then the Ravens do beat the Giants. So for that last playoff spot, it's going to come down to Week 17 between the Dolphins and the Ravens. Then to the NFC, and I do have the Green Bay Packers losing on Sunday Night Football to the Titans. If you want to see the reasoning, Thursday video is betting locks and game predictions. I'll be explaining that one in depth. But I have them losing, but they still retain the number 1 seed in the NFC. Saints will therefore have a chance in Week 17 to claim that 1 seed. I have them beating the Vikings on Christmas Day. Rams, I have them beating, perhaps controversially, beating the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle, completing the sweep and putting themselves atop the NFC West. It wouldn't clinch it, but they would look very good if they were able to get this victory against Seattle. And then the football team, I do have them losing to the Panthers, going 6-9, but they will still retain the NFC East lead under this scenario. Then the Bucs, I have them winning against the Lions, Seattle obviously losing, and then I have the Cardinals beating the 49ers on Saturday, and they will keep the 7th seed in the NFC. So now, my Week 17 predictions, this is how it'll all break according to myself, and here we go. AFC, obviously I have the Kansas City Chiefs going 15-1. They have the 1 seed, and then I think that the Bills will already have that number 2 seed locked up, so I think they will rest their players knowing that they don't have a bye on the first round of the playoffs, so this will be their bye week per se. Won't really play anyone, and they're going to play against a motivated Dolphins team, so I'm going to give the Dolphins that victory. And then moving down the board, we have the Browns at the 3 seed. Yes, I have them beating the Steelers in the division championship for the AFC North crown. Pittsburgh in free fall, I have them losing 5 straight. Then we have the Titans at the 4 seed. I have it 12-4 beating the Texans, and they will keep the AFC South lead and get the AFC South championship. The Colts do beat the Jags, hop up to the 5 seed, and then the Steelers down to the 6 seed, still end up making the wild card, but at 11-5 they make the 6th seed. And then, as I mentioned, I have the Dolphins winning, go to 11-5. I have the Ravens also winning to the Bengals, but under this scenario, they would lose out in the tiebreaker to the Steelers and the Dolphins at 11-5 and be eliminated from the playoffs. In the NFC, no major changes. I have the Packers beating the Bears, going 12-4. Then I have the Saints winning against the Panthers, going to 12-4 for that 2 seed. I have the Rams beating the Cardinals in Week 17, going to 11-5, keeping that 3 seed. And then in another division championship, I have the Eagles beating the football team to get the NFC East championship. This will also be another division championship according to me. So give me the Eagles 6-9-1. Jalen Hurts has been playing very well. I think this team will get hot. And then Tampa Bay at the 5 seed, they went out against the Falcons 11-5. Seahawks, I have beating the Niners, but that's only good enough for the 6th seed. And then the Cardinals, I have them losing to the Rams, but by virtue of the Bears' loss, this will be good enough to get them into the playoffs. So that's going to do it for my playoff predictions heading into Week 16. Comment yours down below. I want to know. Like last week, these would be some pretty good playoff matchups. In the NFC East, we would have the Saints-Cardinals. I mean, that would be entertaining. Then we'd have a rematch of Rams-Seahawks, Bucs-Eagles, and then we'd have Titans-Colts in the AFC, Bills-Dolphins again, and then Steelers-Browns again. So, wow, all divisional matchups in the first round. I hope we do get that in the AFC. But comment yours down below, and peace out.